Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something huge, the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi. This wasn't just another tech conference. This was an event that might have just rewritten the rules for the future of AI. So let's break it all down. Okay, so this one phrase really says it all. It was the theme of the entire summit, and it captures this massive shift in thinking. The whole global conversation literally pivoted. It went from being all about AI safety, just managing the risks, to being about AI for development and impact. So how can we actively use this incredible power for real, tangible human development? This wasn't just swapping out a few words, it was a fundamental change in philosophy. And, a philosophy is one thing, but are they putting their money where their mouth is? Oh yeah. How about over $270 billion? That's the total investment commitment made during the summit. That's just a staggering figure. It proves that this whole shift from safety to impact isn't just talk. It's being funded, and funded in a huge way, on a global scale. So, let's get into the first big piece of this puzzle, the global shift. How did New Delhi manage to redefine the entire world's conversation on AI? Well, it wasn't by accident. This summit was very deliberately set up to be a pivotal moment for tech governance. The goal was to create a brand new center of gravity for the AI world, one that really listened to and empowered the global south. And just look at who showed up. The sheer scale of the leadership that came to New Delhi is, well, it's striking. We're talking more than 20 heads of state, 60 ministers, over 500 of the world's top tech leaders. This was not some small regional conference, folks. This was a global gathering with a very clear mission: to hammer out a brand new consensus for the world. Okay, so that brings us to the blueprint itself. What was this new consensus actually built on? Well, it turns out it was a really unique philosophical framework. It guided every single discussion. And what's fascinating is how it blended these ancient, timeless ethical principles with the most cutting-edge technology out there. And right at the heart of this framework was this ancient Indian motto, Sarvajana Hitaya, Sarvajana Sukhaya. It basically means welfare for all, happiness for all. Now, this wasn't just a feel-good slogan they put on a banner. It was the actual moral compass for the summit. It made sure that every conversation, every deal, put human well-being first, ahead of purely commercial interests. So, from that core principle, they broke it down into what they called the 3 sutras. Think of them as the 3 main pillars. And this is a game changer. Instead of just asking, how fast is the AI or how accurate is it, this framework forces us to ask, what is its real-world impact? Specifically, its impact on people, on our planet, and on creating fair, equitable progress for everyone. It's a complete redefinition of what a good or successful AI even is.
And this all leads to what's being called a new social contract for AI. It was introduced as the Manav vision. Now, Manav is the Sanskrit word for human, which is perfect, but it's also a handy acronym. It lays out 5 core principles. AI has to be moral. It has to be accountable. It must respect national sovereignty. It's got to be accessible to everyone. And it has to be legally valid. You put all that together, and you have a really comprehensive blueprint for how to deploy AI responsibly.
Okay, so a powerful vision, a great blueprint, that's all fantastic. But how do you actually make it happen, right? How do you turn that into reality? Well, the answer is money and muscle. This whole blueprint is being backed by some absolutely massive financial commitments, all aimed at building a sovereign AI ecosystem, literally from the ground up.
Remember that huge $270 billion number? Well, get this. Over $250 billion of that is earmarked specifically for core infrastructure. We're talking the real nuts and bolts: data centers, high-performance computing, semiconductor facilities. India is literally building the physical backbone for its AI future. And the goal is something they call compute sovereignty, which is just a powerful way of saying they want to be in control of their own technological destiny.
And the big tech giants, they are all in. Microsoft came to the table with a massive $50 billion pledge, specifically to expand AI access across the global south by 2030. Not to be outdone, Google is dropping $15 billion into strategic projects like a new AI hub in Vizag and huge skilling initiatives. What you're seeing is these global companies actively aligning their own strategies with this new human-centric vision coming out of India. And all of this comes together in what's being called AI Mission 2.0. Now, the key phrase here is a UPI-style playbook. If you're familiar with India's UPI system, you know it completely democratized digital payments, making it easy for anyone to send and receive money. Well, that's the goal here. The
The mission is to do the same thing for AI, to democratize it, making these incredibly powerful tools accessible and affordable for every small business and every developer in the country.
Now, it's really important to understand that this summit wasn't just about what's happening inside India. Far from it. What we saw was a major realignment of global tech partnerships. It's not an exaggeration to say it's redrawing the map of tech diplomacy for the 21st century. One of the biggest moves was India formally joining the US-led Pax Silica coalition. So this is a huge deal. It's an alliance with other major tech powers, the US, Japan, the UK, Australia, the UAE, and more. And their whole mission is to build a secure, resilient supply chain for semiconductors and AI, specifically to counter any kind of economic coercion. See how that ties back to the national sovereignty pillar of the Manav vision? It's about cementing India's crucial role in that global tech supply chain. And this is where you can really see India stepping into this role of a bridge power. You had different ideas about what AI sovereignty even means. The US perspective was that it's about having and using the best-in-class technology. Totally understandable. But the Global South's goal was more about democratizing access, making sure everyone has access to compute power, data sets, and models. India's approach brilliantly synthesizes both of these. It's saying, yes, let's have top-tier technology, but let's make sure it's accessible to everyone. And this isn't just theory. You can see this bridge building happening in real, concrete ways. For example, Google is literally building a new America-India Connect subsea cable. That's a massive underwater data line connecting the two countries. Microsoft is partnering with the GPAI to make compute power more affordable for everyone. And check this out. Adobe is giving free software to more than 15,000 schools to supercharge the creator economy. These aren't just press releases. They are real, concrete actions that line up perfectly with that AI for all philosophy. All right, so let's pull all of this together. What is the big takeaway, the lasting impact? I think it's this. The summit didn't just create a list of nice principles and empty pledges. It actually forged a new global doctrine, and one that's built on two really important things: practical action and massive public engagement. One of the huge outcomes was something called the New Delhi Frontier AI Commitments. You had all the big players, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, signing on to these voluntary pledges. And what they agreed to is pretty significant. They promised to publish statistical insights from real-world usage data and to work on strengthening their models for different languages and cultures. This is so important because it moves the whole conversation away from abstract ethical debates and toward measurable, real-world results. And to prove this wasn't just some high-level event for elites, you have to look at the public engagement. It was incredible. They actually set a new Guinness World Record for the most pledges received for an AI responsibility campaign in a single day. Think about that. Over 250,000 people personally pledged to use AI responsibly. That's amazing. And the excitement didn't stop there. The AI Impact Expo that ran alongside the summit, it was flooded with over 500,000 visitors. And get this, 250,000 of them were students, eager to see the future firsthand. The response was so massive, they actually had to extend the expo for an extra day just to handle the crowds. This really shows that the whole thing was grounded in real, genuine excitement and participation from society. So what is this new doctrine that was forged in New Delhi? It's actually very clear and incredibly powerful. It says that AI cannot be a tool for just a privileged few. It must be distributed, it must be accessible, and it must be productive for every single citizen.
So, the summit laid it all out. The blueprint, the massive funding, the global alliances, everything is in place. The next big step, of course, is execution. And that leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. As this incredibly ambitious, human-centric model goes from blueprint to reality, are we all witnessing the definitive script for the entire AI century being written right now in India